We have quite a task ahead of us as a nation to deal with what my colleagues have described as a worldwide migrant era and the immigration crisis that nations face worldwide. There's some truth to that statement, but America is a land of law and order, or else we're not. And this Congress is a body made up of 435 elected representatives of citizens of the United States of America. This is the legislative body of our government. We have a responsibility to serve and protect the citizens of America first. This is a simple acknowledgement of the foundational principles of our republic. It'd be difficult to find disagreement to that, the precept on either side of the aisle. And what we face on our southern border is a disintegration of law and order. Now, there's been argument that perhaps we could make the absence of law and order more orderly and conduct our business of allowing the violation of our sovereign laws in a more effective manner. But I would argue that I choose not to be a part of a better managed decline of our nation. And I'm going to ask Mr. Bensman to give us some insight there, but before I do, Mr. Bear, I'd like to ask you respectfully, sir, have you ever been to court for litigation or traffic court or anything like that?
Probably at some point, I don't remember.
I mean, have you ever had to go before a court for any reason?
I'm sure I've had a ticket before, if that's what you're asking me.
It's not a trap question. The point is, we've all experienced that. And we arrive in front of that judicial procedure according to a schedule determined by the judicial system. We don't barge into the courtroom and demand that our traffic case be heard first. We don't overpower the deputies guarding the door and demand that the judge hear our case. This is what's happening in our southern border. It's overwhelming our system, and the backlog for judicial procedures is incredible. Impact similar to what Mr. Bensman talked about with our schools. This is injuring America. Mr. Bensman, your background gives you a tremendous experience covering national security issues extensively, specifically regarding immigration. How would you count the number of illegal aliens that are currently in our country, both from prior administrations and for decades of presence here in our country? What would you put that number at?
The Center for Immigration Studies, before this mass migration crisis we agreed with the 12 million figure. We can no longer say it's 12 million, though. We have to say it's 16 million. We can't just talk about the presence of illegals inside the United States as 12 million anymore.
So as we move forward as a Congress to discuss immigration law and border security enforcement, would we not, based upon your experience, is it not the responsibility of Congress to get a grasp upon the number of aliens actually present in our country so we can stop guessing?
Sure, of course. I mean, at some point, the government will have to resume interior enforcement operations. Interior enforcement operations have been suspended by and large for 2.5 years. At some point, we're going to have to, somebody will decide, well, there are judges' orders, removal orders that have to be enforced again, and we'll have to be able to plan.
Sir, I concur that would be ideal. My time has expired. Let me just close by saying that I believe the number is far greater, and I think it should be part of our narrative that we discuss across the aisle to determine the number of illegal aliens present in our country, so we can get a handle on what needs to be done there.